Iwi whakahui hui mai ki tēnei kaupapa whakahira hira e mā tātou katoa o ngā pāki whakateka o waitaha whakatau mai rā koutou e.
Ati he mai ora. I te tuatahi me whaatakaru tātou ki honga mano, he whakatūwā te tēnei a tātou hui, no reira rā kia ino tātou. E tō mātou matanui te rangi, tuku mai tō hātura hano, kenu ki mātou hui hui nei. Moro mātou harama mātou ngūkoretanga, whakahoki e tō hātura hano, kenu tuki a mātou kia whae mātou te huarahi te kama te huarahi pono i ngā wā katoa. Āwhini te mana ki te mai mātou uti tēnei kaupapa, he whakakaha te whanangatanga kei wanganui a tātou uti tō koutou puruiatanga. O mai mo kia mātou piki te ora, piki te kaha, piki te māmatanga, kei nunga kia mātou tinana, kia mātou ngāka mea mātou wairua. Ka tuku ana haumi nei inoi, i runga te ingoa kaha, te ingoa tapu, o te matua tama wairua tapu me ngāna hira pono, ko te māngai hei tautoko mai, ai nei aka nei ai. No reira whakapuakina te tatau. Te tatau o te mātauranga o ngā whakaaro. Here ai te tangi a te manu nei, kui, whiti whiti ora, kui, kia raki e tū nei, kui, kia pampatūna koe takoto mai nei, tū mai hi, tū mawana, kia rongo mai tātou katoa, ti te tangi a te manu nei, kui ki mua, kui ki muri, kui ki te whai au, ki te ao marama, a ti hei mai ora. No reira ngā poroporo a ki ngā mate maha, ngā mate katoa ko pōwhiritia ki tua te ārai. Ngā kaitauitangi, ngā mātauitangi, ngā tātou katoa, no reira te hongo wairua takato mai, hei rungi te teiteitanga me te rangatiratanga o te raki. Kia tātou te hongo ore ngā mane ngā reo. E rau rangatira mā, ngā maharama whakatau mai. Whakatau mai i rungi te kāranga o tēnei a tātou kaipapa whakahirahira. Ngā mā whakatau mai ke wainganui a tātou i rungi tēnei whakatau o tō tātou nei rangatira ingoho mai nei ke wainganui a tātou. No reira rā, nei rā tuahiriri e mihi atu kia koutou i tēnei wā. No reira ko ngā wawata, ko ngā hua, hei whakakaha te whanaungatanga ka wainganui a tātou i roto i tēnei tūmomo huihuinga. No reira nei rā te mihi aroha kia koutou anō i tēnei wā. No reira, kāpiti hono tātai hono rātou māko whitirangi te tua tārai, takoto mai, kei rungi te teiteitanga, me te rangatiratanga o te raki, kei te mihi atu kia koutou te hongo ora, ati hei mai ora. So in translation, firstly, we give thanks to the Creator and Author of all life, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, Amen. And really for us, we welcome you here. Welcome to our whenua, welcome to our land, welcome to our he of Waituahuriri. We have gathered here to acknowledge the worshipness, your worship, your right honourable Phil Major. Nei rā te mihi kia koe. We acknowledge you and we welcome you into your new role on behalf of Waituahuriri, and we wish you all the very best. And to all our new councillors, we offer and extend our greetings to you. And we hope that your role in your position is you enjoy it, and that together we move the city forward. So I acknowledge you all and thank you all very much for being here, and we also extend our welcome to you all. So on that note, I'd just like to reiterate and reinforce our welcome. Welcome, twice welcome, thrice welcome. Ati hei mai ora.
Te aroha, te whakakono, me te rangi mani e tātou tāmaru e.
aye. Aye nei ake nei aye. Can I please invite our next kai kōrero, our next speaker up to the podium. Kia ora tātou.
Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. And thank you for that blessing and welcome. It gives me absolute great pleasure to declare the inaugural meeting of our new Christchurch City Council open. I'd like to offer a very warm welcome to you, our guests, friends and family, to our councillors, returning and new, and to all of you who are going to enjoy this afternoon, because it's a very special moment. And I would like to personally congratulate every single councillor and our mayor-elect. Clearly you have been elected by your ward, but you are also city councillors, and it's important that you remember that you're carrying that mantle as well. It's a very significant day for each and every one of you, and we know some of you are returning, and I'm sure you're very pleased, and our newbies, as we affectionately call you, very welcome. You're great welcome. This is the start of a new chapter for you and in your careers as you evolve as well. It's an exciting but challenging time for local government. In the next 3 years, are going to be one where you will be dealing with so many things that might be out of the continued extraordinary that we see here in the city. But you are a group of people who, if can come together, will be able to lead the city underneath our new mayor. So I'd now like to call Mayor-elect Phil Major to come and make his declaration, please.
I, Philip Simon Major, declare that I will faithfully and impartially and according to the best of my skill and judgment execute and perform in the best interests of the Christchurch City Council the powers, authorities and duties vested in or imposed on me as Mayor of Christchurch by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987 or any other act.
Got the minute.
And now we need to give the mayor his chains.
Right. Oh, this is very special. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our new councillors and your families. Thank you to Dawn and the rest of the team who have organised today's meeting. It's an exciting day for all of us, especially for our families, as none of us would be here without their ongoing and dedicated support. That's quite emotional. So thank you to all of them. In the past fortnight, we have already met as a team to get to know one another and understand what we want to achieve and to share our ideas of how we can move the city forward. We must all be pulling the rope in the same direction for the best interests of Christchurch and Banks Peninsula. I am truly humbled to be elected your Mayor for the next 3 years, and I am looking forward to working with you all, and congratulations to all of you on your success. I would also like to acknowledge everyone who stood for public office in this election. It takes real courage to stand up for your community. Christchurch is on the cusp of realising the investment of the past decade. Our new facilities, our relative housing affordability, and our location as a gateway to the South Island and Antarctic put us in a strong position to attract new businesses, new families and more investment. But as a council, we must be delivering for our community and providing the services that underpin a strong and growing city. We need to show people that as a council that they can have confidence in the jobs we do for them. I'm prepared to do what it takes to put Christchurch on the map and ensure we are not forgotten as the second largest city in New Zealand, especially by central government, and I will work with anyone for the best outcomes of our city. Going forward, I will focus on delivering on the commitments that I made to the people of Christchurch and Banks Peninsula. I know what it's like to grow up here, raise a family, do business in Christchurch, and I want my kids and grandkids to be able to do the same in the future. I know with our different experiences, our range of skills, our united dedication to Christchurch, and by working together, we will make our city the best place to live, work, invest and play in New Zealand. Congratulations to our new council, and now let's get on with the job. Thank you. I would like to congratulate all councillors on their election. I will now call... Do you want your middle name?
Yeah.
No, Kelly Barber to come to make their declaration.
I, Kelly John Ashby Barber, declare that I will faithfully and impartially and according to the best of my skill and judgment execute and perform in the best interests of the City of Christchurch the powers, authorities and duties vested in or imposed upon me as a member of the Christchurch City Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987 or any other act. Thank you everyone. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. First, it's an honour and a privilege to be standing here representing the people of the Burwood Ward, an area where I've lived with my family for 35 years. The Burwood Ward is an eclectic mix of people, communities, and it's been a wonderful place for us to raise our family. I first want to say thank you to the people of Burwood who voted in the elections. I will do my absolute best to represent you. Your issues are my issues, your concerns are my concerns. I want to shine the light on some of our challenges and opportunities in the upcoming term. So much of of the former red zone is in our area in Burwood. And so many of our communities have been uprooted and relocated. For example, Preston's subdivision in the north, 7 years ago it didn't even exist. And now there are some 1,800 sections and thousands of families living there. So many from these red zone properties. They lost homes, schools, community facilities, churches and whole neighbourhoods. I'm passionate about seeing a new community centre built in this particular community. I really want to thank also my family, particularly my wife Melissa, who supported me during the whole campaign to get elected. I'm sure she even came out door knocking with me, and that's something that is pretty special. I'm not sure how many people voted for me or for her, but yeah, it was a great time, and I appreciate seeing you here, Melissa, and our eldest boy Zach. Thanks for coming along. I'm particularly proud to be here at Council to honour my great-grandfather, Dan Giles Sullivan, who was Mayor of Christchurch from 1931 to 1936. He was a fascinating man and continued, the generation since have continued service to their community with my father also, who I'm really proud of, who was a Nelson City councillor for a term. My wife's family also have a strong history of service in this community. My wife is a Morehouse from Morehouse Ave ilk. William Sefton Morehouse was Superintendent of Canterbury in the 1860s. And so our family in various guises has served this community for a long time. We don't often acknowledge faith in New Zealand as being something that's important to us as much as perhaps we could, and so I really want to take this opportunity to say how important my faith has been to me, and to acknowledge the strength that I get from my relationship with my Lord and Saviour Jesus Christ. In this day and age, maybe faith is not expressed so clearly as it once was, but I can't let an opportunity like this go by to talk about the importance of that in my life. I'm very excited about the future. I'm very excited about the new mayor and working with my new colleagues. Most of since I've just met recently. I'm really excited about the future because I think that we've turned a page here, and I think there's a real positivity about the group. And I'm sure we're going to do the best we can for this wonderful, wonderful city. Thank you very much.
Our next lucky recipient is Melanie Coker. Could Melanie please?
I, Melanie Sue Linda Coker, declare that I will faithfully and impartially, and according to the best of my skill and judgment, execute and perform in the best interests of the City of Christchurch the powers, authorities and duties vested in or imposed upon me as a member of the Christchurch City Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information Meetings Act 1987, or any other act. Tēnā koutou katoa, no Ingarangi, no Kia Tarana, o Ku Tupuna, I whanau mai au I Ōtautahi, ko Melanie Coker to Ruingoa, Morera, tēnā koutou katoa. I'm humbled to be voted in for a second term as councillor for this Friday ward. Thank you so much to the many volunteers, many in this room, who assisted with the campaign. I'm sincerely grateful for your support. And thank you especially to the voters who've put their faith in me again. I'm really excited to be on council for the next 3 years. As a woman with a young family, I wish to continue to represent and work hard for the needs of a sector of our society that's often too busy to be heard but cares very much about our collective future. I have a range of priorities this term. I really want to see this council keep the future in focus, to look ahead to 2050 and even as far ahead as 2100. In particular, I'm referring to Council's goal of achieving a reduction in greenhouse gas emissions by 50% by 2030 and having net zero greenhouse gas emissions, excluding methane, by 2045. This goal is ahead of the government's as the residents in our city want us to be more ambitious and to be climate leaders. I will always keep this in mind with every decision I make this term. And I will not forget that this must be a just transition, one that makes sure no one is disadvantaged. My other citywide priorities are focused on increasing equity across our city and improving our environment. Examples, this is straight off out of my election campaign, but including free swimming lessons for kids, creating living streets which are safer and greener, and more support for biodiversity projects. Repairing and renewing roads and footpaths also needs to be a focus, as does increasing tree canopy. I want to see more green space in our suburbs so children and families can enjoy outdoor space as housing density increases. I also want to acknowledge a change at my local community board, welcoming the Heathcote ward to Spraden and Cashmere. I look forward to learning more about the areas and working with our new colleagues. I look forward to us all working together, councillors, our staff, with residents, and working as one with our new mayor to do the best this new council can for Christchurch. Kia ora.
Pauline, Copper.
I think I know this off by heart. I, Pauline Francis Cotter, declare that I will faithfully and impartially and according to the best of my skill and judgment execute and perform in the best interests of the City of Christchurch the powers, authorities and duties vested in or imposed upon me as a member of the Christchurch City Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987 or any other act. Tēnā koutou katoa. Nā mihi ki te kaupapa o te wā. No o te tahi aho, me whanono aho ki tēnei whenua. Ko sane lana mili aroha taku tamariki, ko tainui rato iwi. No airangi taku papa, no wira taku mama, ko puling taku rua. Katoa ho ki te mihi, kia tātou, nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Look, I'm back, and looking forward to representing Innis and the City of Otatahi. And looking around the the seats here, at this fresh new council, I see quite a few young faces. Mind you, everyone looks pretty young to me these days. I know that you're all bringing fresh energy and passions to the governance decisions that will shape our city. How we cope with differing views is always a challenge, and we must and will have differing views. It's healthy, but it's how we deal with that. And we learned last week that the first step is to identify common ground, things we can agree on around an issue. And that is most likely to be, apparently, 80%. Then we work through the 20% and how we may find compromise or a rework or whatever. So I'm looking forward to testing out the 80-20 theory. We know the unprecedented challenges we're facing with climate change impacts, and to address these, council must lead while enabling communities to step up and engage. We need to work together to address climate change at a local level, and every little bit helps. We must and will put a climate change lens across every decision that we as a council make around the table. But our city will only be as strong as its people, and that's why community facilities are crucial as places to connect and inspire and to build social capital. And it's strong communities that gets us through storm events and disasters and who knows what else. So it's a privilege to be part of this council, a council which will be nudging Otatahi even closer to being the unique and sought after 21st century city that we're well on the way towards realising. And I'm sure, look, we all agree that campaigning is exhausting. I really appreciate the help from my whānau, particularly my Millie sitting out there, who's been a real stalwart, thank you. My friends and the People's Choice. Thanks you all very much, and I will do my very best to live up to the expectations, and thank you too to the people of Innis who put their faith in me. I'd like to finish on a whakatauki which I love. Papoe te ao, papoe te kāinga, papoe te pāharakiki. Look after the world, take care of the village, nurture the people. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa.
Hello, Sir Celeste Donovan, please.
I, Celeste Marie Donovan, declare that I will faithfully and impartially, and according to the best of my skill and judgment, execute and perform in the best interests of Christchurch, the City of Christchurch, the powers, authorities and duties vested in or imposed upon me as a member of the Christchurch City Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987, or any other act. Already. It's a good sign of things to come. Tēnā koutou katoa, ngā mihi nui kia koutou. I'd like to start by thanking my family and friends, some of who are here today, and who have been such a huge support to me and helped me so much through not one, but 2 campaigns in the space of just over a year. I think you all deserve a holiday. Your efforts today have made today a reality, and I couldn't have done it without your support and adoration. I'd like to thank the residents of the Coastal Ward who got out and voted, and I appreciate your willingness to put your faith in me once again. It's a true honour to represent you and advocate for the coastal community. I promise to work hard to make sure your voice is heard at the council table and we get progress on the issues you care about. I'd like to acknowledge my colleagues. We're all here because we want to see the best for our city. We may not agree on many things, but I hope we find common ground in our desire to see Christchurch thrive. I look forward to working around the council table with each and every one of you. As a council, we are tasked with making decisions that will impact the people of Christchurch for generations. Let's make decisions now that will make the most positive impact for future generations. Looking to the future, we have some big challenges ahead with our housing crisis and climate change all knocking at the proverbial door. In 2019, Council declared a climate emergency. Now is the time for action. Let's work together to make sure we take the steps towards building a thriving, climate resilient and low emissions future for the city. As a council, we also have a responsibility to honour our commitment to the principles of Te Riti. To honour this commitment, we must actively uphold these principles and also work to translate these principles into meaningful action. Christchurch has come an incredibly long way since earthquakes and is now leading the country as one of the best places to live. 10 years on or more, we've made great progress in rebuilding our city, but there's more to do. We need to complete the earthquake legacy repairs in the east, fix those broken roads, so we can all move together and start facing the future together. I ran for council because I want to see positive change in my community and across the city. This is a transformative time, not just for the coastal ward, but for all of Christchurch, and I hope to have some part in shaping the future for all that live here now and for future generations. Now more than ever, we need to stand up for what is right and not just what is easy or popular. We have an opportunity to leave this city a better place for our children and their children. Nā reira, tēnā koutou katoa. Thank you.
I will now call on Tyrone Fields to come up and make his declaration, please.
I, Tyrone Fields, declare that I will faithfully and impartially, and according to the best of my skill and judgment, execute and perform in the best interests of the City of Christchurch and Banks Peninsula the powers, authorities and duties vested in or imposed upon me as a member of the Christchurch City Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987, or any other act. Tēnā koutou katoa, ko te ahu pāta ki te monga, ko whakaraupa o te moana, ko Tyrone Fields tuku ingoa. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. I've got so many people to thank, but first I'd like to thank my family, my parents. Thank you for being here with me today. My wife Angela, who magically makes everything happen for our family, for our kids, Luca and Hannah, so that I can do the work that I love doing. So thank you so much for that. Thank you to the People's Choice for believing in me through selecting me and providing so many moments of camaraderie and inspiration and joy. And there are too many people to name, but you know who you are. Although I will mention my big brother Justin, who's not here today, but if I don't mention him, there will be consequences. But seriously, without him, seriously, I would simply not have got over the line. And I am so very, very grateful to him for that. So thanks, Justin. I would like to acknowledge my predecessor, our former Deputy Mayor Andrew Turner, who has given me unconditional support and guidance throughout. Most importantly, he's laid down a template of what it is to be a committed, humble and successful councillor for Banks Peninsula. And I will do my best to emulate his example for our Banks Peninsula communities. And it is these communities who I really want to thank the most. They've believed in me, been so generous to me. They've put me here, and I feel so lucky to have the opportunity to represent them around this council table. Banks Peninsula is the most extraordinary place, full of extraordinary people, and it is a beacon of sustainable hope as we collectively grapple with the challenges of climate change. I believe that with Banks Peninsula, Christchurch has become the most livable city in New Zealand, and with good governance and a commitment to its people, can become a byword for what it is to be a modern and progressive city. I look forward to working with our Mayor, and all of our councillors to carry forward a shared vision of what it is for us to become the most sustainable, equitable, prosperous, people-friendly, and above all, most fun city in Aotearoa, New Zealand. Kia ora.
I will now call on James Goff to come forward and make their declaration, his declaration.
I, James Tracy Goff, declare that I will faithfully and impartially, and according to the best of my skill and judgment, execute and perform in the best interests of the City of Christchurch the powers, authorities and duties vested in or imposed upon me as a member of the Christchurch City Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987, or any other act. The way I naturally frame my thinking and how I work through finding solutions to problems tends to be via a business lens. And my comfortable space is to look at matters commercially. In corporate governance, particularly in larger and more complex organisations, is a space that I've got some experience in. Now, that's not to say that it's right or wrong, it's just a style and an approach that I bring. But although we all work through things differently, we all do it for the same reasons. As the Māori proverb goes, he tangata, he tangata, he tangata. It is people, it is people, it is people. And it always has been. Our past and our future are people. Although we all hail from different backgrounds and have different skill sets and experiences, we're united in the fact that we all serve the people of our city, to strive to make Christchurch the best city it can possibly be. I thought that I was passionate about this role when I gave my speech standing in this exact same spot 12 years ago when I was first sworn in. And while all the reasons that I first stood for council still apply, there's a lot more that motivates me today as a person. I'd like to acknowledge my mother Helen, who is here, and my incredible wife Jasmine. Jasmine and I have 3 wonderful children together. George, who turned 5 years old recently, is also here. Thanks for coming, Georgie. My 3-year-old daughter Annabelle and 1-year-old son Henry had other pressing engagements today, so they couldn't make it, but George is flying the flag for the next generation of my family, and that makes me really proud. Seeing the world through their eyes and knowing that I can make a difference to help shape Christchurch, not just for me, but for them, and one day their children, is hugely motivating. It adds another dimension in appreciating the importance of the role we're in and the privilege that we have to help shape the city that they'll inherit. So it is people. It's about honouring our people from yesterday who got us here. It's about meeting the very real needs for our people today. And it's about making decisions to ensure that what we pass on to our people of the future is a city that's better for them than what it would have been without our contribution. So that's my commitment to you, and I look forward to working with my capable colleagues and engaged communities to achieve that. Thank you all.
now call Tyler Harrison Hunt to make their declaration.
Ko au, Pari Tyler Deacon Harrison Hunt, me taku kupu tēnei, tutuki ahau, ki taku e pono nei, ka kāwenga katoa, e painga mo te taone o Otautahi, ki runga i te mana kua riro mai I ahau, hei mema o te kaunihira o te taone o Otautahi, nā te ngā kaupai o te ture kawanatanga arohe, rua mano mārua te ture pārungo huinga o kawanatanga arohe, ko tahi mano I warau, waru te kaumā whetu me ētahi atu ture rānei. I, Pari Tyler Deacon Harrison Hunt, declare that I will faithfully and impartially, and according to the best of my skill and judgment, execute and perform in the best interests of the city of Christchurch the powers, the authorities and duties vested in or imposed upon me as a member of the Christchurch City Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987, or any other act. That was a long one, double one. I'd like to kindly ask senior leadership to bring in an interim councillor. Mai arara, nā ia he raukura no Naitahu, no Ngāti Parau, no Te Atiawa. He tūhanga nui tēnei no te rua hikiki, a Māwi pōmare, a tūranga tūhaka. He kauwaka ahau o ngā matapono o ōku tupuna, te aroha ki te tangata, te poipoi e te pāpori, te tūranga tira ai mō te painga o te iwi whānui, ko Tyler Harrison Hunt tōku ingoa. I am but a feather on the cloak of my tribes, Ngāi Tahu, Ngāti Parau, and Te Atiawa. I descend from the ancestors Te Reo Hikiki, Māwi Pōmare, and Tūranga Tūhaka, who each embody the mana of their people, and I am a reflection of them and their values. I'd like to acknowledge those who are here and those who are no longer with us. In particular, my grandfather and my namesake, Pari Winifred Hunt. Without my family's guidance, I wouldn't be standing here today giving my promise to the city and my ward. I'd like to also acknowledge my wider whānau, my parents, Pari and Trisha Hunt, my wife, Saba, who's up there, and my daughter, Anaino, and my newly adopted Pakistani community in helping guide me along this journey. I'd like to acknowledge all the volunteers and supporters during this campaign and the tireless hours delivering flyers, providing advice and talking to our communities. I'd also like to give a very special thanks to our Riccarton residents for trusting in me and ensuring your voices are heard and addressed. And I'm looking forward to walking alongside you in all things Riccarton and our city. Over this campaign, I reflected on every single meaningful interaction and engagement I had. The diversity was refreshing, and the key focuses of our residents are just as diverse. We all hail from different walks of life, and it's those differences that make our city the amazing one it is today. In this position of privilege gifted to me by the city, I have called home for 31 years. It's an immense responsibility that isn't taken lightly. Every decision that is made, I know the community are backing us to make decisions for us and for those after us. so we can proudly raise our children in Christchurch, knowing they will grow up in beautiful green spaces, have accessible transport, and have cool places to enjoy. We all as councillors stand here today know we stand for the goodness of others and striving for the betterment of our communities with the ever-moving goalposts of unity, connectedness, and cohesion. Yeah. And as our environmental and societal landscapes are ever changing, it's important that we follow in the same. To be considerate and look at issues through a clear and concise, evidence-based approach. And when the evidence is not clear, we meaningfully engage, include and actively collaborate to get over the line with absolute win-wins. Apologies, but I own one. This brings me to my promises. Political promise, I know. I promise to be engaging and listen intently to the message and not the words. I promise to always consider every single avenue and voice. I promise to honour the treaty. I promise to address our changing climate through innovative means. I promise to step up for the disenfranchised and disengaged. And I promise to promote cohesion and kindness. However, I cannot promise not to wear Jordans at some events, nor can I promise that I won't occasionally lay down some great dad jokes in community board meetings. But in all seriousness, I promise to be authentic and give you my everything. You deserve it, Otatahi Christchurch. Let's continue to look ahead with manaaki, whanaungatanga and kaha. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā tata katoa. Kia ora.
I'll now call on Victoria Henstock to come forward, please.
I, Victoria Marie Henstock, declare that I will faithfully and impartially and according to the best of my skill and judgment execute and perform in the best interests of the City of Christchurch the powers, authorities and duties vested in or imposed upon me as a member of the Christchurch City Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987, or any other act. Kia ora tātou, greetings everyone, lovely to see some familiar faces here and thank you for joining us. My daughters Genevieve and Amelia are here. They'll be very relieved that I won't be asking them to pop up to the front for me to carry you on my hips. It is an honour and a privilege to be standing here as a new councillor and to be given this opportunity to serve my community. I do not say that lightly. Thank you firstly and foremost to the wonderful people of Papanui for trusting me with your vote. Congratulations to Mayor Phil and to my fellow councillors. I'm really looking forward to getting to know you some more, to understand what is important to you and to your respective communities, and to working with you together for the greater good of our city. There is a lot to love about Otatahi Christchurch and Banks Peninsula, and it's a really exciting time to be at the helm driving our city forward. As a lawyer, I also appreciate that it is a pivotal time to be in local government, particularly with the raft of legislative reforms that are in the pipeline. I am really grateful for the warm welcome that the returning councillors have shown to me in the last week or two. I'm really encouraged by your openness and by your sense of camaraderie. It means a great deal. That said, I am under no illusion about the complexity of the issues that are ahead of us and of the many tough conversations that we are yet to have. I ask you all to always remember what we have in common and what we talked about in our governance workshop last week. We all love the city. We all care about people. We care about our communities, and we all care about our environment. I too am filled with faith and hope, and I have trust and confidence in each and every one of you that as a group we will find a way to work together for the betterment of the city. I'd like to acknowledge my predecessor, Mike Davidson, and publicly thank him and his family for his 9 years of public service. I have some special guests here today that I would like to acknowledge and thank. Firstly, my ever-patient, knowledgeable and trusty campaign manager and husband, Michael Henstock, who worked tirelessly with me during the campaign. Did I mention patient? I am sure that over the years, love, you have had far easier clients to deal with than me, but thank you so much for your support. My children too are here today, Genevieve and Amelia, and William, who couldn't be with us today. Thank you for your support, and most particularly for your good humour in dealing with the embarrassment of my extensive billboard campaign. I'd also like to mention my parents, Michael and Yvonne Allen. My mother Yvonne is here today. I'd like to mention Dad, he's not here with us today, but I know he'll be thinking about me. And also my brother Andrew Allen is here, and my mother-in-law Penelope. Thank you for joining us today. And it really is your strong belief in the importance of community and public service that has led me to this vocation for what I'm standing here today. So I thank you wholeheartedly for showing me the way and for your support and guidance throughout the campaign and always. Special thanks also to the legendary Yvonne Palmer, who is with us today, former long-standing Papanui Community Board member and chair, who quite literally walked with me on this journey. Thank you, Yvonne. Thank you for your practical support and your guidance. And joining us also today, a special mention to Carol Evans, former City Councillor and Deputy Mayor. Thank you for your wise counsel along the way. How lucky for me to have the both of you in my ward, and I thank you for your confidence in me, and thank the residents of Papanui again for entrusting me with your vote. I could not have done this without you, and I am looking forward to serving my community. Kia ora.
Now call on Yanni Johansson to come forward and make his declaration, please.
I, Yanni Johansson, declare that I will faithfully and impartially, and according to the best of my skill and judgment, execute and perform, in the best interest of the City of Christchurch, the powers, authorities and duties vested in or imposed upon me as a member of the Christchurch City Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987, or any other act. thank you for the opportunity to say a few words. It is a real honour and privilege to be sworn in today for what is my 6th consecutive term in the Christchurch City Council office and my 8th term serving the city, because prior to that 6th term in 2007 when I was first elected to council, I served on the community board for 2 terms from 2001, and prior to that I was fortunate enough to be a member of the Christchurch Youth Council serving the city from 1996 to 1998. And I just wanted to say that I will never take the representing of the city for granted. And I think what's really amazing about this election is just how many younger councillors we have today. I've been very grateful as a young person growing up in the city to have had so many amazing and special people that have mentored, helped, supported me in my journey from youth council to city councillor. And I just wanted to acknowledge, and I know the previous speaker has done so also, but both Yvonne Palmer, who was a former community board member, and of course Carol Evans, who was the former deputy mayor, council colleague, and just an amazing person who supported me when I was a lot younger than I am today. Thank you for coming. There is actually a really nice synergy around me being able to be sworn in today, because this morning I opened a youth leadership symposium at the new convention centre, and that was nearly 20 years to the day that I opened a youth leadership summit in 2001. And what's really important, I think, in our city is that we acknowledge that the reason that we're here is to make a better future for those who are to come and those who will inherit it when we are gone. I'm really grateful for the people in my community that have given me such a huge percentage of the vote. I think it's about approximately 80% of the votes in my ward were for me to be on council. And I think that gives a really clear mandate from my constituents on the things that I've fought for, campaigned on, and will focus going forward. I think those things are best summed up by 3 simple words. It is time. It is time for more transparency, and it is time for more responsiveness to community concerns. It is time to address the intergenerational poverty that has been exacerbated post-earthquake and with the pandemics that has impacted hardest on the poorest and the most vulnerable. We need to shift to a much more deliberate and targeted approach to increasing the declining rates of home ownership, the lack of secure, affordable rentals, rather than simply subsidising the rich. It's time to invest in social initiatives that provide hope and opportunity for all. It is time to rein in excessive senior executive salaries and remuneration, whilst ensuring that all council and its company staff and contractors are paid a living wage and are employed with people with fair and reasonable conditions. We must focus on addressing the significant cost of living challenges and the ever-increasing fees and charges that penalise those who can least afford it. It is time to improve land use planning so that there are better buffers between unsuitable industrial activities in close proximity to residential neighbourhoods. It is definitely time to move the offensive and objectionable organics plant and to permanently fix the Christchurch wastewater treatment plant. For far too long, those communities have suffered, and they should not have to. It is absolutely time to address the environmental inequity by reducing odour and dust discharges to air, increasing tree protection and canopy coverage, cleaning up our urban rivers so that they improve rather than degrade, to reprioritise repairing our munted suburbs ahead of gold plating the central city, and by fixing our broken roads, footpaths, parks, cemeteries and flooding in the east. I'm also calling on council to accelerate the craft projects to be delivered within the next 12 months. If we think it's important, then let's find a way to get it done. It is no longer acceptable for this council to leave entire neighbourhoods behind. We must strengthen our local community boards to get more done at the local level. We need to focus on moving forward together by putting the well-being of people and planet first, while working hard to improve our environment and our basics. We need to rebuild trust in the council and increase satisfaction. And I'd really like to acknowledge and thank the community, the Labour Party, the People's Choice, my friends and family who have supported me during the campaign. I do want to acknowledge the elected members who have come before us for their contribution
to making our city what it is today. In conclusion, let us celebrate the power of local democracy to bring together a diverse group of people committed to the governance of this city for the greater good. We should not underestimate the significance for us to be able to have the right to vote freely and fairly in local body elections for those we wish to represent us. E hara takatoa, e te toa takitahi, engari he toa takatini. Success is not the work of an individual, but the work of many. Thank you.
I'll now call on Aaron Kewen to come up and do his declaration, please.
Thanks. Thank you, Phil. Thank you for leaving out my middle name.
You got to say it now.
No. Parents were Elvis fans. I'm Aaron Kewen, declare that I will faithfully, impartially and according to the best of my skill and judgment execute and perform in the best interest of the City of Christchurch the powers, authorities and duties vested in or imposed upon me as a member of the Christchurch City Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987, and any other act that may be forced upon us in the near future. I'll take it off because it'll go droopy. Anyway, I wasn't going to do a long speech at one of these. My speech was simply going to be, but instead I have decided to say a couple of words because the people of here would deserve that, because they turned out and voted, not only for myself but for my community board colleagues, who were, Jason was the highest polling in the city and Linda was the third highest polling in the entire city. So obviously things have gone pretty well in our area, and we're proud of that. We're proud of our area, so I thank all the people in here that got out and voted, and I'm pretty sure that was probably Phil's strongest turnout as well, because they seem to really like Phil in our neighbourhood, which is good because some parts of town obviously didn't.
His third name's Lee.
All downhill. So for the 3 years ahead, I always thought it wasn't a good thing to say a lot of words at the start of your workload. You should do the talking and celebrating at the end. But this time, for me, I think it's a little different. I listen to my colleagues talk about their families and their friends and their teams that help them work, and my team doing the campaign in my ward was myself, and it was a big team, and my 6-year-old son Harry. And you'd never get a no asking to put a sign up when you've got a 6-year-old with you, so it's a tip for anyone out there. Tyler, you'll be in good form next election. And you start to feel old when you realise there's new councillors elected who you used to hang out with their aunties and uncles when you were younger, Tyler. It's a small world. What I want to do is talk about our future. We've talked about our local communities, we've talked about our own city, and I just want to say something about Christchurch. I love growing up here. I think it's a great city, but I think it's a city that's become really lazy, and I think it's a city that's underperforming. Of all the main centres in New Zealand, we've got the lowest GDP, and that's not cool, because I grew up in a city which was at the forefront of giving women the vote. It was at the forefront of many inventions, including the jet boat, the disposable syringe, the tranquilizer gun, I think it was pretty cool, and the CT scanner, base isolation, some of the world's bigger problems, and this syringe might sound like a small one, but think about how many hundreds of millions are used per day globally to save lives. And I think going forward, as a council, we need to show a leadership role and take up that mantle that Christchurch once had as being a world leader in innovative thinking in our way forward. Some of us may disagree on some of the issues around climate change, but what no one can disagree on is pollution is bad and extremely bad. Plastic's already in the oceans, and what we need to do is come up with those solutions. And I think this is the city that can do it and can lead the way, because if we meet our climate change targets in 2045 and 2050, we've failed. We haven't done enough. Just biking a bit more, busing, planting a few trees will not change the world. Switching the world to a hydrogen future will be, and there's a company in Christchurch, and I'll give them a shout out, they're called Fabra. They signed a deal last week with my ward, with the Herwood Airport, and an airport over in Europe to lead the way in hydrogen flight. And that has hardly made the news, and that is shameful. But that is the way forward. And just think about this, economies need cheap fuel to prosper, and hydrogen would be around $1 a litre at today's value, and clean burning, and we can be green hydrogen in the South Island. So let's think a lot bigger than we are, let's solve the world's problems and be a leader in that, and that's the city I'd like to be proud of going forward. Thank you.
Sam McDonald. Far away, buddy.
I, Sam Thomas McDonald, declare that I will faithfully and impartially and according to the best of my skill and judgment execute and perform in the best interest of the City of Christchurch the powers, authorities and duties vested in or imposed upon me as a member of the Christchurch City Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987 or any other act. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you very much for coming along and supporting everyone that's come along today. Look, can I start by just thanking the Waimari Ward for putting their faith in me again. It's my second time on council and I thoroughly enjoy the role entirely. Can I just acknowledge, I guess, my family and also the campaign team. I see Paul, Chrissy, Erin, Boyd and Liz away, have all played a tremendous part, I think, what has happened across the city over the last couple of months, and we should never underestimate the hours that volunteers put into local democracy across our community, regardless of the side of the equation you sit on. Look, I think, looking at the next 3 years, it's going to be really interesting. I think there's going to be some pretty big challenges for us as a city. And look, it's no secret that probably, whenever it was, when nominations were open, I was sort of faced with the choice. And, nothing like a bit of pressure to make a decision of whether I throw in the towel in local government and look at potentially running in the seat of Ireland for central government. And, 3 years ago, I probably would have jumped at that opportunity straight away. And I thought that Wellington was the be-all and end-all, and that's where we needed to go. But I just hope that the message that I sent by deciding so quickly was actually the respect that I have for local government and the value it puts into people's lives. I think genuinely we need to continue to fight for that. Three waters, housing intensification, and as Aaron mentioned, future of local government. There's a range of challenges being pushed at us from Wellington that we should not sit back and take. And so my view, and I hope that it was signalled through that, was actually that there is a real place for local government. There's certainly a place for local democracy, and I want to play my part in that. Look, I just want to acknowledge also my colleagues. I think everyone here really, for the existing councillors will know that the huge toll this role takes on you. You don't have your weekends, you don't have your personal life, and actually every minute is owned effectively by the public. For the newbies, you'll learn that pretty quickly, but again, it is a huge privilege to do it on behalf of the city. I think it should always be viewed as something no one does forever, but actually while you're there, you need to make your mark. And I guess my commitment to our new colleagues, regardless of the views we have, is to work constructively with you, to compromise where we have to, But I think the message we heard loudest and clearest through this campaign was that as a council, we need to deliver tangible outcomes to the city. There's no more talking, there's no more report writing for the sake of it. We need good outcomes for the city. And so my commitment is to deliver on that. And I just wanted to finish by saying, Phil, how proud I am of you. I think he's really stood into the role, and I know that you're going to make a great mayor for our city, and that was another reason why I really want to stay and back you, because you're going to be one for the history books. Thanks.
Now, Jake, who was giving Aaron heaps about his middle name, could I ask Jake, and you'll say it?
Oh, yeah,
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Phil. I, Jake, here we go, why not? I don't struggle with it. I, Jake Brocard McClellan Dowling, declare that I will faithfully and impartially, and according to the best of my skill, judgment, and execute and perform in the best interests of the City of Christchurch the powers, authorities and duties vested in or imposed upon me as a member of the Christchurch City Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987 and any other act. Kia ora, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa, ko Jake Tokaringawa. 3 years ago, when giving my first inauguration speech, I said I was joining the table at a time when the city is feeling increasingly proud and increasingly confident, especially when it comes to the development of our central city. That pride and confidence has only increased in the 3 years since I said those words. Many people, including our new mayor, have spoken about Christchurch being on the cusp of greatness. Our housing remains comparatively affordable, our central city is becoming increasingly vibrant, and our access to the outdoors in one of the most beautiful countries in the world is something for others to envy. We, though, have a huge weight on our shoulders. That is to make sure we deliver on all that potential. And I'm really looking forward to working with a team diverse in thought but united in passion for our city. I want to acknowledge all of the new councillors, some of whom I know, but all of whom I'm really looking forward to know more. Of course, I want to thank the people of the Central Ward for backing me to deliver for them. In the Central City, we've worked together on issues like the shuttle, Cream Square and urban planning. In Linwood, I spoke about the need for council leadership and urban regeneration 3 years ago. With a new Stanmore streetscape due for completion next year and a plan to green the east, I think we've made bloody good progress, and importantly, we've established a pipeline of progress to come. I want to also thank the new areas of my ward, those being Phillipstown and the entirety of Richmond. I can't wait to get to work for these new areas of our community. I campaigned both on what I've achieved but also what I want to achieve. Public transport will be a focus of mine this term, including rapid mass public transport. We need to continue to plan for what Christchurch will look into the future, for when that future starts to take shape, we don't want to be playing catch up like Auckland. I'm also really passionate about community facilities and enabling greater access to swimming pools. Central also supported the community board team that I ran with, and I wanted to acknowledge that. Both Sunita Gulton and John Miller have done a great job and will continue to do so. I want to finish by thanking all those who helped with deliveries, reminding people to vote, or anything else that needed done during the campaign. And I'd like to call out two people who are here today. One is my brother Taylor, who is the collective campaign manager for our campaign, and the other is Ruben, who ably chaired our campaign. So thank you.
Okay, I'd like to now call up Andre Moore, please. Did I get it right? I said I'll get 5 or 10. Yeah. Andre. Yeah, show me how to say it, right?
I, Andre Julian Moore, declare that I will faithfully and impartially and according to the best of my skill and judgment execute and perform in the best interest of the City of Christchurch the powers, authorities and duties vested in or imposed upon me as a member of the Christchurch City Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987 or any other act. It is quite an honour and a privilege to be standing here today. I'm just going to take this off the screen. I'm excited for what the next 3 years will bring, and I do acknowledge that we're likely to experience some tough times. I do know what tough times feel like. I also know what disappointment, heartache and frustration feels like. I'm a Warriors supporter. It's comforting to know that if ever I'm having a tough day, I can look down at my Warriors tie and know that I'm probably going to have a tough time come the weekend as well, watching them play. I'd like to make a shout out to my dad. Now, he couldn't be with us today. Funnily enough, 2 of his ex-wives are here in the room, however. And on behalf, I'd like to share a story from him which was about toughness. He told us the story about how he was playing rugby league for the Hallsville Hornets in Naarm, all the way in Naarm. This was back in the 80s. I thought that's pretty impressive, and he broke a rib playing league for the Hornets in Naarm in the 80s. I thought that's pretty impressive, Dad. I was less impressed when I found out he was talking about Sid Naarm. But thank you, Dad. So how did I end up here? I wonder this quite a bit. I was born in Romania. My life was likely to look like growing up in an orphanage, but by chance or fate or whatever it may have been, I was adopted by a Hallsville couple. This is where I grew up. I'm quite lucky to be here with the opportunity that I've just been sworn in for. So to my parents who fetched me from the other side of the world, I will do you proud. To my biological parents I may never meet again, I will do you proud. To my friends and family who supported me and helped me get here, I will do you proud. And to everyone in Hallsville who supported me, I will do you proud. To my new colleagues around the council table, I commit to working with every single one of you in the interest of our city. I do believe I understand why the people of Hallsville sent me here and what they want from me. As the fastest growing part of Christchurch, the growth has rapidly outpaced infrastructure. We're still missing sections of footpath on Hallsville Road, Cashmere Road, Sutherland, Sparks, Milnes, Dunbars, Awatea, Murphy's and Quapes Road. We're missing safe places to cross many of our roads and even our schools. I want Hallsville to be a place that's accessible for all ages, all physical abilities. We're all here for a common purpose, and that's to create a better city. There's no question that the next 3 years will be tough. COVID, inflation, global tensions, supply chain issues, a climate crisis rearing its ugly head, and I hate to say it, but actually what's next? There's no such thing as an uneventful year. But in Christchurch we understand what tough times look like. We understand the word resilience, we understand the word community. During the Port Hills fires, the Te Hapua Centre in Hallsville was so flooded with homemade baking for our firefighters, it was like 1,000 grandma's homes at once. During those fires, social media was flooded with offers of a place to stay, strangers opening up their homes to strangers everywhere. After the terror attack in 2019, we came together with a message and a commitment to unity and made it very clear that Christchurch is a home to all who live here. During the earthquakes, we looked out for one another. We had swarms of people shoveling liquefaction in the streets, young and old. And it was actually even just the little things that brought us together, like when we had our mayor demonstrating on TV how to use a toilet in your garden. I do believe we've got something really special here in Christchurch. I know I'm lucky to be here. I understand how lucky actually we all are to be here. If we can rebuild trust between residents and council, we can start building that unity we've tapped into many times before. If we can get Christchurch behind an aspirational vision to really make its mark on both the national and international scale, While the next 3 years will be tough, they're also extremely exciting times with so much potential. Our city will soon be home to a number of world-class facilities, Te Kaha, Te Pai, the Metro Sports Facility, new arts precinct and a town hall which is home to the finest acoustics in the world. We've got the opportunity to turn the city into the arts, sports and events capital of Aotearoa. We've got the opportunity to turn our city centre into a good place to do business because everyone wants to be here. We've got a city that's as flat as a pancake, and we've got the opportunity to make it easy to get around by car, bike, scooter, foot bus, wheelchair, or whatever it may be. Ease of access improves productivity, livability, and by geez, we've got some opportunities here in this city. We know what we've got here in Christchurch, and it's time to listen to our residents and get them on board with what we wish to achieve. And it's time to showcase the city to the rest of the world. For me, Christchurch has been a city of opportunity. Of all the places in the world to end up, I ended up right here, right now. And I will work pretty damn hard to make sure that this city remains a city of opportunity for all and for future generations. Kia ora.
Right, could Mark Peters please come up and do his declaration?
I, Mark Jonathan Peters, declare that I will faithfully and impartially and according to the best of my skill and judgment execute and perform in the best interests of the City of Christchurch the powers, authorities and duties vested in or imposed upon me as a member of the Christchurch City Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987 or any other act. Tēnā koutou katoa. Ko ingarangi te whakapapa langana mai. Engari, ko hawara te whenua tupu, ko ototahi te kainga, ke hombi o e noho ana, he kairuri o e Aotearoa, ko Mark Peters o. Tēnā koutou katoa. Firstly, I'd like to thank my awesome family, my wife Nicola and daughters Sophie and Abigail, who are all here today. Thank you for their unwavering support. I'd also like to thank the fabulous support of my Hope Presbyterian Church family. It was truly appreciated. Secondly, I'd like to thank my independent friends for all their fantastic support, including Sam, James and Aaron, along with Mayor Phil. I would also like to thank the voters of Hornby for entrusting me with your support and votes to elect me as your new councillor to represent the needs, concerns and hopes of Hornby to this council. I would like to acknowledge the devoted work of both Jimmy Chen as our retired councillor and Mike Mora as our retired community board chair for their years of service to our community. Thank you for all you did and achieved for our community over the years, and do enjoy your well-earned retirements. Our Hornby community has had quite a journey over the past number of years, coming together to fight and save our Denton Park, then to form the fabulous Greater Hornby Residents Association out of the united community that drew together through this to represent our community's needs going forward. We are now eagerly anticipating the completion of the new Matatiki Hornby Centre on Cole Park late next year, together with much needed hydrotherapy pool we fought so hard to have added. Going forward, one of my focuses is going to be trying to get the trust of the ratepayers back in this council. One of the keys to this is ensuring that consultation is full, fair and genuine, with council listening well to the feedback given, then fine-tuning their proposals accordingly to ensure that people are genuinely included in council processes and decisions. Community safety has been a recurring theme recently, and I'm keen to work together with the community and organisations involved in this area to get our communities to a place where we can all feel safe again. There are many traffic and infrastructure issues in our Hornby communities, and I'm keen to represent these into council to get what we need achieved for our community. Out of this, it would be great to get traffic moving far more efficiently, get our footpaths fixed and even built in places so we can get around better and more safely. Connecting our communities better needs to be a goal so we can move around and across our communities safely. I'm keen to work together with other agencies such as ECAN to try and get our public transport improved so we can rely on it as a serious method of getting around and hopefully get out of the necessity to use our cars as our primary transport method. Increasing our tree canopy in the wider Hornby area is something I would really like to work on improving. Planting of lots of trees and plants and even establishing Hornby bush areas to green up our Hornby. Quarrying activities need to be better controlled in our wider Hornby area also, so that we can reside safely and happily without having to live our lives adversely affected by the dust problems of these activities. We need to work at getting better setbacks from residents in place to help with this. As you can see, I've quite the vision for our Hornby area and making it the best corner of Christchurch in which to live, work and play. Let's get it happening and start getting it done. Ngā mihi nui.
I, Timothy Peter Scandrett, declare that I will faithfully and impartially, and according to the best of my skill and judgment, execute and perform in the best interests of the City of Christchurch the powers, authorities and duties vested in or imposed upon me as a member of the Christchurch City Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987 or any other act. So keen to get up to my big speech. I'm a big writer. First of all, I'd like to thank my family, my campaign manager, my wife Carolyn, who's always right, my son George and my daughter Isabella, who are great supporters and have always been, so thank you very much for that. I'd like to thank our many friends who delivered flyers and those in our community who allowed me to put my sign on their fences. It wasn't too badly photoshopped, so they did recognise me when I came to get them. I should have taken a leaf out of Aaron's book actually and taken a 6-year-old. I did make a mistake and took our box of Betsy, and that was 50-50 results, so yeah, I'll learn from that one. I very much want to thank the Kashmir community and welcome the community of Westmoreland to the Kashmir community. This is my 4th term being voted in by this community. It's a huge privilege to have their trust and faith in me, and that will certainly be at the forefront of my decisions in the future. I'm also the only councillor here today who has been an employee of the council, and I just ask that those of my colleagues to always remember to respect our staff. They do a huge amount of work. Some of it is thankless. As we know, we are facing some challenges, and it must be incredibly hard for them to present their work on that to us. So that is all that I ask of you. For me, I will undertake to work with all of you as best I can and support you, especially the new ones. Anything that I can do for you to help you, please let me know and I will do my best. We've had incredibly
incredible challenges in the last 10 years, and I won't go into those, we are all aware of them. And we have some more coming to us. 3 waters, intensification, and a number of others. But as my mother said, my late mother said, that if it was easy to do and it wasn't a challenge, why are you taking credit for it? So we will work together with our staff to achieve everything we can for the city of Atatahi Christchurch. Thank you. Cheers.
Sarah Templeton, please come up and do your declaration.
I, Sarah Louise Templeton, declare that I will faithfully and impartially, and according to the best of my skill and judgment, execute and perform in the best interests of the City of Christchurch the powers, authorities and duties vested in or imposed upon me as a member of the Christchurch City Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987, Te Tiriti o Waitangi or any other act. Tātai moka, te tātai tangata, he iu, he whitu, tuia, he korowai. He korowai aroha, he korowai whakapapa, ti hei mauri ora. E te pau whakaruru hau o te takiwā nei, I nai tuahuriri tēnā koutou. Ko te honanga, te kaupaparanga tira mā tātou, te tuahiwi ki te whaio. E aku nui, e aku rahi. Koutou e whakapau wera kia eke taumata. Ma te huru ka rere te manu. Ka tū whakaiti tēnei manu, ka airi atu I taku mai oha kia koutou. I'd like to start, like others, with my sincere gratitude to my family, most of whom are sitting up there, my friends, my colleagues, and the wider community for their support over the last 6 years and during the campaign. I absolutely could not do it alone. We all do the mahi. I'd also like to thank the people of the Heathcote Ward for trusting me to work on their behalf once again. The council is often seen as other, something apart from the community, but nothing could be further from the truth. We are all elected members and staff, a part of the community, friends and neighbours, helping to run the shared services that we all collectively fund. And it's when we work together that we achieve the most. Rebuilding our city and our communities after many crises in a way that helps us face future challenges, foremost among them, climate change. Let's work together now to face up to climate change, to lower our emissions, to enhance our waterways, increase biodiversity, protect and restore our natural environment. Let's put people at the heart of our decision making as we support our coastal and low-lying communities through the adaptation process. And let's get on with it. Let us invest in our children's future. Let us be the council that residents of 2050 look back on and thank for our courage and our foresight, and not condemn for stalling just as action was most needed. Let us be good ancestors. Mō tātou a mō ka uri a muri aki nei. Kia ora.
Thank you, everyone. That was fantastic. Now, I've just got a couple more little things to say. I'll just, for a start, I'd like to acknowledge Mayor Dan Gordon from Waimakariri, who was a good sounding board to me when I was getting a wee bit lost from time to time. I'd bring him up and he'd give me some very good advice. And also, probably half of my campaign team that are here today. We started off 18 months ago as friends, but we are now very good friends. They know every bit as much of me than I know myself. There's Erin, Boyd, Paul, Liz, who's not here, Adam, Will, Clive and Pete, so as well as a lot of others, so that was good. And there's still, there's a number of my family here, my extended family, which is very pleased to see you here. But the person that is my very best friend is my wife Christine. Now, when she walked in here tonight, she's the one that tells me where my underpants socks, because I'm sure someone hides them in different places. When she came in here today, I said, you know that there's a Mayoress chain? And she said, you have me on. I'm not. Come up and get it. As the ladies here at Council have quite rightly said, we haven't had a Mayoress for 9 years, so they're looking forward to having Gotcha. It says Mayoress. Wow. Yeah. So, if I had fingernails, I'd put this on. I'll hear about that later. I will now invite all councillors and the Chief Executive to please take their seats around the council table. Thank you very much.
That's where I'm starting. We're starting here, yeah?
Mm-hmm. We're all good. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. We will now move the first formal report in the agenda, item 4, explanation of statutory requirements. Has any councillors got any questions of staff? Brilliant. I'd now ask for a mover and a seconder. Mark's moving it. Yane seconded. To receive the information for the report. Is there any debate? That's good. I will now put the motion. All of those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against? I declare the motion carried.
Unanimous.
Yeah.
The promise of things to come. Right. I am pleased to announce that I've used my powers under section 41A of the Local Government Act 2002 and have appointed Pauline Cotter, Councillor Pauline Cotter, as the Deputy Mayor.
That was a popular decision.
Yes, yes. Okie dokie. Right. We now move on to item 6, appointment of councillors to community boards. Have we got a mover and seconder for that? Sam and Sarah? Sorry, this side's winning at the moment. Okay, I'll now put the motion. All in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against? I declare the motion carried. And lastly, we'll now move on to item 7. The purpose of this report is to set the date of the first ordinary council meeting and subsequent council meetings for the rest of the year. Have any councillors got any questions of staff? Nope. I'll now ask for a mover and seconder, Tim and Jake. Is there any debate? I will put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against, say no. Okay. I declare the motion carried. Yeah, I've just got this one here. Okay, stand up for that, shall I? Yep. Thank you very much, everyone who has attended today's inaugural meeting to witness your councillors take their oath to serve Christchurch City and Banks Peninsula. I welcome and look forward to us working together over the next term. I would like to thank Dawn and staff on behalf of the council for the work they have done to make this ceremonial occasion run like a well-oiled Swiss watch. Finally, I'd like to thank again to our guests, family and friends for all the support you have provided us all individually throughout the campaign, and woohoo, hasn't it been hard work? I now declare the meeting closed and welcome everyone to enjoy some light refreshments outside the chambers. Thank you very much.